Hi guys, listen in. Look, unusual location for this FB Live. I'm at a coffee shop in a shopping centre, but there's a reason, and you'll find out in a few minutes' time. So welcome to how to be mentally tough in those pressure-packed, cut the tension with a knife moments that decide whether you're a winner of a match or whether you're merely world class. At any level and at any age that you are, this is the same training and the same feeling. So first of all, I own up. I own up, Gov, because the training is not to be how to be mentally tough. The training is about how to be mentally tough. It's about how to be mentally smart. And the training is also about how to not get distracted by young children in the background, right by your right ear. So let's just think about it. If you're mentally tough, this means a number of things. One is, it means when that feeling of pressure invades you, when like Sissoko, Tottenham against Liverpool, he had 30 metres, probably 5 seconds to think about things and then get distracted by the outcome of him smacking it deep into the top left-hand corner. So thinking is bad, and outcome is even worse than bad. You need to be processed and present and non-thinking. That's the training, that's the objective. So back to being mentally tough. The first thing is that pressure invades you. You've been told it's your enemy. Everybody tells you pressure is bad for you, pressure is your enemy. So clearly, enemy comes into town, you've got to fight. And that's why you need to be mentally tough. And let's not confuse this with being mentally tough for endurance and resilience situations. Yes, you have. But pressure-packed, cut the tension with a knife moments, that swing, very narrow victory from very narrow loss and merely world class. No. We'll get to what you need to be soon, but you don't need to be mentally tough, because that implies you're fighting. And with your fighting, instantly, we're getting stiff and tight. With fighting, we probably have a little bit of bravado thrown in too. Let's roar like lions. Let's put our face right up to theirs and go, man, I'm going to fight you. I'm going to fight you to the death because I am a hard ass. I am going to be mentally tough. And then that also gets you into conscious controlling mechanical brain, where you're operating at 50 bits per second, 50 processing bits of information per second. And there's an awful lot of information to process. Okay? So those are all the things that are associated with being mentally tough, as you would if it's your enemy, if it's bad for you, of course you would. So now just pretend this pressure thing that comes all over you is Superman in disguise. It's Superman kind of nestling up and going, hey Marky, you want some of this? Want some of this? You are going to perform at your best, mate. We're going to whack oxygen into your brain, and it needs oxygen, the brain, more than the muscles. But hey, we've got loads, so we're going to whack loads of oxygen into your muscles too. You're going to have more energy. We're going to give you pin sharp eyesight, like you're just going to see this ball so well. And if that's not enough for you, we're going to give you forced anticipation. Your ability to see patterns will happen so quickly and elegantly, like you've seen how that ball's going to be played out before it gets played out. So all these things are given to you from pressure being your greatest friend. So you're not going to fight it, are you? You're going to go, welcome. Welcome, my best friend. The cavalry has just arrived. So all I need now to be is be mentally smart. I need to be able to embrace you and harness you. I need to take and suck all that goodness you're giving to me, but at the same time being still and calm, dispassionate, Now that requires some training. Relaxed intensity is a little kind of good phrase to think about. And that immediately then gets you into looseness. So when the world is screaming for you to be tight, you can be loose. Did you ever see Muhammad Ali / Cassius Clay fight against a world heavyweight guy that's there to punch your lights out just as soon as you can? Did you see him dance around and be loose and smack, smack, smack and be the world's greatest heavyweight champion ever? He knew pressure was his friend. And then kind of lastly for now is that you get also, just by being how I described, more likely to slip into your prime state. And being in your prime state means you process information at 14 million bits per second. Intuitive, easy, elegant, no pressure. So choose. Do you want to be mentally tough, fight to an inch of your life, be stiff, 50 bits per second, or do you want to be loose, 14 million bits per second, and all have God's things given to you? It's a choice. So I would go for mentally smart, personally, because also when you roar and stuff and look at the opponent and go, I'm going to fight you right to the death, a savvy opponent goes, arrogance and ego and bravado. So that's the choice. And when you think about it logically, we know the samurai warriors were trained in dynamic meditation so that they didn't fear death. And now that death was not something to be feared for, they could be 100% in the moment, fighting to their best of ability, and then obviously the outcome was going to be much more likely to be the outcome that they want. Is it no coincidence that when TV commentators see the likes of Djokovic and Federer raise their game under pressure, that they shout, "It's amazing"? They are playing with so much freedom and relaxation at this most critical of times. Why did they use the word freedom and relaxation and looseness? Okay, so that's it. So I apologize for the misnomer. You don't have to be mentally tough to win those tight pressure-packed moments that decide victory from merely world class. You just have to be mentally smart. And yes, there is training, because knowledge is one thing, and now you've got some knowledge, but to go from knowledge to a skill, to be automatic, as in who you are at those moments, requires training. And luckily, 1 point away, door shut soon. 30 days of training every single day to shift you from wanting to be mentally tough to actually being mentally smart. One of my honorary advisors is Supu Matthew. For 28 years now, he's been a master of a Chinese martial art that stems right back to 1,000 years BC, a strand of Kung Fu. And before that, he trained 10 hours a day, 7 days a week for 12 years with his master before being appointed a master. And a few years ago now, he said to me, as we're having the same discussion, as I was going, yes, you know, I'm like a lion, I fight you to the death. He goes, Mark, Kimo Sabi, winning or losing is like having a cup of tea. And at the time I didn't understand. What do you mean it's like having a cup of tea? This is like life or death, man. Win or lose. No. Winning or losing is like having a cup of tea. The training is about the privilege and the joy and the fun of being allowed to fight at your very best, and your looseness at the very moments that winner takes all. Winning or losing is like having a cup of tea. So now you find out why I'm doing this Facebook Live in a coffee shop. I have my cup of tea. 1 sugar, please.